All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are officially here for game number 4 of this best of 5 grand final between 4Zoomers and Undying. I am, of course, with the very handsome johnxfire. John, welcome back, sir. How you doing?
Doing great, Mike. It's a great back and forth between these teams. 4Zoomers up now one game away from taking the grand finals, and Undying on the back foot. They need to find a win to force the game 5. We'll see what they bring out. The last time these teams faced off against each other, of course, Undying did knock the Zoomers out in very quick fashion, but the Zoomers have learned what Undying's weakness is. They've finally figured it out from the past few months, and they're just in really good form right now, just on top of everything. They start off with a really strong draft as well. They get the Mirana. They go immediately into the Razor. So feeling confident with their combination on hand. They've got a plan in mind. They want to keep making Tomado's lane hard. And no matter what Tomado picks here, Razor's just going to be able to, static link up, get his damage away, ruin him in team fights as well if he's able to focus him down. And that could make it troublesome for Tomado. Undying, though, do start out with the Witch Doctor and Mars. So they've got this very solid here for Dubu to play with. They've got that strong combination with the Arena and the Death Ward going in the middle of it. So they've got some good team fight on hand. We'll have to see what they build into here, as the Zoomers have been stepping up to the plate. They ran the LD mid once more for Gunner. It's been a while since we've seen that in his games, but it does come true, and it delivered a spectacular performance down mid. They had so much push, so much durability. The anime draft, the Dota anime draft, did work out.
Power of anime.
So that is
can't lose.
That is the power of anime, and that is very good signs for the show going forward.
I've heard the show is pretty lit, by the way, John. Reminder that you're the one that likes to trash talk everything that's created with Dota, but it's going to prove you wrong. I know it. I know it is. Still, next band stage is out. 4Zoomers. By the way, shout out to the people talking to us in the Twitch chat. I apologize. There was some questions asked, and I couldn't answer them because the draft had just begun, and naturally there's a 5-minute delay, which makes it a little bit challenging to answer questions, but nevertheless, Medusa banned out again from 4Zoomers. What are you smiling at, sir?
No, I saw someone ask one of those questions you mentioned. Someone was asking you, so if you only watched a good anime, what's your top recommendation?
Probably Fullmetal Alchemist, honestly. I mean, I know it's old. I know it's not like a current anime, but...
Brotherhood, right? FMAB?
Both.
Okay.
I recommend watching the first one first, because I feel like you get a really dark feeling from the first one, and then Brotherhood's a bit more polished. And they probably explained the story a lot better. But I think you watch the first one, and yeah, you can argue the second one's kind of the same story, but they go much deeper into it. And that's enough about that, John. The only anime I watch now is the Dota anime. That's it. No other anime is important to me anymore.
Oh, goodness.
4Zoomers, their 5th ban out. They've been focusing in on the Tomato heroes again. No Weaver, no Medusa. And no Lycan, just in case.
Yeah, it makes it tricky for Undying. They're going to have to find something that doesn't mind a Razor. So, not many options for meta course that doesn't mind a Razor. It's always going to be kind of torturous for you in that case. And Undying, they have to worry about maybe giving away the Alchemist once more for Sammy. He actually did a really good job in that first game with his Alch.
He did.
So, Zoomers just knows how to play around it now.
You could give props to... And we've been talking about the Zoomers a lot, but you got to give a lot of props to these guys. There's a massive improvement with these guys from when we saw them in the NADPC, I'd argue. Clearly really coming together now. And just one game away from beating out this grand final up against the team like Undying, who were extremely close to making it to the major. Very impressive stuff so far, but I'm sure Undying not going to go down without a fight.
That they won't. They do pick up the puck here. More than likely are here for Bryle, of course, but we did see Dubu have to run that, and maybe Moon Meander considers this as well for the puck 4, Witch Doctor 5, a possibility there for Undying. So flexibility going forward in this draft, and they have that Mars puck combination, Spear with a Dream Coil to break, or Arena plus Dream Coil for total control in an area. Looking good for shaping up team fights. Zoomers will have to find something. Like, they don't have anything to really catch out a puck. Arrow's not good enough. They're going to have to find some way to set up to catch that slippery hero out. If they are worried about that mobility, they are taking their time and thinking about this one. A couple of options there. Husky does play a mean CM. We haven't seen that one in the past day, so it
No?
could be an option to consider. They go with the Enchantress instead for just going back
that's
to
a
what
good
worked
pick.
last time, but Undying. Going into the Phoenix. They've got the Arena
Yep.
Egg combo with the Dream Coil on top. Lots of area denial. Some good heals coming out from the Phoenix. Really good team fight already, and
Very
Zoomers don't
strong.
have that same team fight, right?
No.
Like, Razor's good for targeting that core, taking out his right click, but it doesn't really contribute when it comes down to locking in an area. It can get some damage off, but they need to build up some team fight now somehow for Zoomers.
No, they're going to go into the Alchemist. Now, this is what I think Zoomers does, because I don't think there's any more space left to go for some really big team fight, because you're only really lacking either a mid lane or a safe lane if you want to run the Alch mid, but usually we see Sammy playing the Alch. I think you just go some kind of tower pushing mid, and you try to do the same thing as you did last game, and just take over the map ASAP. That way, by the 25-minute mark, your Alch will be big enough to get involved anyway. And these team fights from Undying, this massive team fight they have with their draft, may just not matter. We'll see. But I think it is going to be pretty important. Because you're not necessarily going to want to go into a 5v5 up against this kind of draft from Undying. There's just way too much. Like Dream Coil, Arena, and Egg in the back. Even the Cask from the Witch Doctor is very infuriating to have to deal with in the middle of a team fight. Especially when you haven't got BKBs up yet. So I think for Gunner, you're going to be looking for a hero that can either completely dominate the game and set a tempo, or just push down towers very quick.
Yeah, they're going to have to find that somewhere in their mid pickup. Honestly, something like the LD doesn't sound too bad. It gives them some solid presence. We saw how Gunner hits his timings. They can play around the push potential that comes out with, the play around with the laning pressure it comes out with. You still worry about all that teamfight control, but it does give them that access to a fast push. I don't think a DK works out too well here, but you could also opt for that if you want to.
They've
Just
got
try to get
Lesh.
something that can push.
There's Lesh, there's LD like you said. I personally do like the LD pickup. You've still got DP, even though that kind of feels a bit weak in the mid lane right now.
Doesn't feel like it would hold out well against Puck, but again, Undying might be keeping it flex. Could just be Saberlight Phoenix, Moon Meander Puck saving the Brile pick for last. No. There's a Mars, right? Like it should be Saberlight Mars. I was spaced out a bit. So it's open whether
There
or
it
not.
is.
Yeah, the LD comes out, so they just go back into it. Worked really well last time. Undying don't really have a lineup to punish it, although they have much better damage this time with Phoenix and Puck along with Mars. So they have some way of bursting through it. They're going to have to really work to make that happen, prevent Gunner from hitting his timings, and try to punish the greed coming out from Zoomers again. It is slower to build up, but we saw the same thing happen. Sammy Boy last game just farmed up on his TB. This time with the Alchemist, he's going to hit those farm spikes faster, but the TB does come out for Undying. So they've got the natural Scotty carrier themselves. They've got the Metamorphosis to play with. It's a really good back and forth. Like, there's a lot of angles you can take with this for the side of Undying and for the side of Zoomers in terms of what fights to take, what objectives to look for early. And this is going to be a great back and forth. Now, mind you, Tomato will still not enjoy being up against a Razor.
No.
Like, you're going to have to break that gap somehow to prevent the static link from being a major issue. Perhaps signaling that Tomato might want to rush a Force Staff that we sometimes see Terrorblades go for into the Hurricane Pike just to be secure. But otherwise, it's a great one. Like, there's some timings here for Undying to meet. There's some timings here for Zoomers to meet. And there are some different win conditions. For Zoomers, it's push with the Lone Druid. For Undying, it's constant team fights with the Puck, Mars, and Phoenix.
Yep.
So it's going to be a great way of bashing their heads against each other, trying to force the game out for Undying, or just trying to close it out for Zoomers.
It's going to be a very interesting game number 4. We'll see if we can force it to a game 5 here for Undying. A lot on the line for both these teams. Can't wait to see how it pans out. I think there is going to be a lot of pressure on Brax. Not only to try and really win out his lane up against Tomato, but he's going to have to be a real team player this game. It's not one of those farming games at all for this Razor. I think Brax will probably go for something like a Falcon Blade and just join his team and start fighting. They'll let Sammy farm up till, again, the 25-30 minute mark. And that should be about the point where they're looking to go high ground, if things go their way. But I do agree with you, John. I think this is a real back and forth. And I think Zoomers have to be careful, because if Undying win out their lanes, they could just run all over you.
Oh, yeah. They've got the powerhouse to do that. Once they hit their level 6 spikes, it could get scary. They can abuse that. Like, if you see Undying grouping up as 4, you can easily hunt down the Terrorblade, get some deep wards down, prevent Tomato from hitting those spikes. And it should slow down the pace for Undying as well if they're taking these trades. So, a lot to watch out for in this game. And game number 4, Undying 1 game behind. Zoomers 1 game up, looking to close out the series. Of course, they will want to make it a speedy one. They are zooming past.
Stop
as
it,
it has
That's
been a really
enough.
it has been a really good back and forth. You can see Gunner is still all business. Gets actually wait, no one else said good luck, have fun except for Brax. So he's tanking his teammate
He is.
for that. And Undying has no words.
No words at all, John. No time for games right now for Undying. They've got to try and win out this game and force to a game 5. Sure, Undying felt very confident going into this matchup for the grand final. Sammy. Oh, good old Sammy. I love the fact that Sammy's just casually trash talking now. Save the light. It's good to see, you know, just a more relaxed environment for the Zoomers. I almost felt like during the NADPC they just looked a bit stiff as a team. But now they look much more relaxed, much more gelled together. It's great stuff.
Yeah. That's what you want, right? Like when you have a team like Undying, you know, Doobie just forming a stack and just running down everyone, you know, there's a sense of whimsicalness with Undying, right? Like you have Moon Meander. The team's just going to be sort of whimsical by nature just by having Moon. So you want to kind of have that same relaxed nature. It just sets a good mindset for the team.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, Dota is like a psychological game. Most of it is down to getting in your enemies' heads and trying to stay on a very even mental state yourself. I mean, draft does a lot as well, you know, but when it comes down to executing, it's the mental warfare that really eats in. So
yeah,
it is really good. It's a good sign for a team when you're relaxed.
Mark my words, John. If you're a person trying to climb MMR in pubs, you could literally do it just by spamming voice lines and tipping people when they make mistakes. I mean, people get tilted very fast. And of course, even sometimes their own team turns on them in pub games, and that can make it even more fun, let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
You should run.
That it is. It's the beauty of the game. And you can see the beauty right now as well. Zoomers going for that 5-man smoke again. Undying on the opposite side. They have left Tomato alone, but it doesn't look like the Zoomers are going to be able to reach, so they'll look elsewhere. They just have this really early deep ward to spot out, I guess, couriers coming in. You could go for a snipe. You could watch for lane swaps, and the ward actually does spot out Tomato. They're going to be able to set up for that lane quite nicely, and they get a nice D ward as well from Husky.
Very nice indeed. Full Zoomers have been very consistent with taking out that mid ward every single game. It's been in the same spot quite a few times now. They seem to just be able to easily get the D ward off. Gunner gonna send the Spirit Bearer in again, try to snag away a Bounty Rune if he can. Dubu gonna have to try and out-click the bear, and he does. Very nice.
Yeah, just correcting an issue from the first game where you just didn't have any of those starting runes, or you had a snowball start for Zoomers. They are being aggressive in Tomato, but they are just clearing out that creep wave. But he's zoned out. He does not want to walk through all that damage, and he's going to have to TP up to his wave. And you see the XD up there. Poor Tomato.
The DX. The DX the next level XD or something? I've been seeing a lot of players typing DX rather than XD.
Yeah, it's like a kind of like a, I don't know what you say. It's like a cutesy tongue out face, right? Like cheeky kind of tongue out, I guess.
I see.
I mean, Tomato has to be a bit cheeky. He's not going to have a good time here at all. Like, Brax along with Ocean You've got the threat of Static Link. If not Static Link, then Plasma Field to melt the TB down early. Magic damage not being something Terrorblade does enjoy. And Ocean, if he finds a good angle, can follow up. Dubu actually forced to go for Voodoo Restoration level 1 in trading with Ocean. So you're already going to be offset from finding some aggression with, say, earlier Paralyzing Cask. And that just means you have to be more passive in this lane here for Tomato.
I think that's pretty acceptable from Dubu though, right? Because he can't actually abuse Melodic, nor can he abuse Cask with just the TB in his safe lane. You could make the argument that they can have meta up and they can use it that way, but I don't think that's the intention from Undying. I believe they just want to make sure they can get the farm. Now he'll get aggressive, but it's just a bit of harassment out, just forcing the salve usage from Brax. They'll be just fine to continue farming up. Of course, over in the mid lane, Bryle is going to be up against Gunnar once again. This time, Bryle trying to be very aggressive on the puck, and you can already see the HP pool of Gunnar getting lower and lower as time goes on. We'll see if he can have as good of a time on this lone Druid in the mid lane, because last time it was a very free time, to say the least. But up against the puck, I'd argue it's a harder matchup for the lone Druid.
Yeah, I mean, Bryle still has that wave clear out with the Illusory Orb. Gunnar, it's just going to have to focus in on finding the individual creeps. He is going to be a bit harder to zone out. Like, the puck doesn't have as much stand-in-your-face presence compared to the DP last time, so you're going to have to watch how far you go forward. If you get rooted up, it could be an opportunity for Gunnar to try to run you down, especially once he has that Orb of Corrosion or the Phase Boots up, so have to watch that back and forth. Is going to hold steady. The Power Rune, a bit more important for Bryle. He will want the refills up, he will want to be able to make use of whatever power spikes he gets from that, and we'll see if the supports can secure that for him and whether or not Gunnar can contest, but he already drops fairly low, and he is out of regen on that LD, so he's going to have to watch himself. Still, the last lane here, Undying, and the off lane, they've got Saberlight on the Mars, Moon Meander on that Phoenix. They are up against Husky on the Ench and Sammy on the Alkin. For the most part, this is a relatively safe lane for Sammy. He's not under any major threat. Maybe if you get speared up and you get a couple of Fire Spirits on, you start to melt, but Husky can easily maybe opt for an early Nature's Attendance by level 3. They get the pull off as well, so they've got really good lane control so far, and Undying have not put a big dent in the Alchemist farm. That could be a bit of an issue if Sammy's allowed to proceed this way.
I looked back to the mid lane for a second, John, while you were speaking, and Bryle was literally behind the tier 1 tower, just attacking Gunnar and just taking out the creep wave. A very aggressive style of puck so far from Bryle. Gunnar still CSing really well considering the circumstances, sitting at 16-0, and is back up to full HP anyway. So, as much as Bryle is trying, it's not quite as effective with this harassment as he would have first hoped. Now the 4-minute power runes, it is going to be down towards the bot lane. Bryle, snared up, needs to go for that arcane rune. He desperately needs to, but he doesn't have a bottle anyway. So Gunnar's going to go ahead and take it.
It's a pretty nice pickup for the bear. Should give you some options if you want to Savage Roar out, and even drops the cooldowns on, let's say, the Entangling Claw. So it's slightly more uptime if you do get lucky with the roots, which is always nice, as Bryle is already uncomfy. He's forced to kind of drain through his bottle early on, and kind of makes it hard to sustain.
Moon Meander diving onto Husky down a bot lane. Spear, ooh, barely not going to touch Husky. Moon Meander still going. He needed that spear, I believe. They'll turn around with the stun. They'll get the first blood. Tips out for Moon Meander. And had that spear landed, it would have been a completely different story, but it was just barely off. And Saberlight, gotta be careful. The stun is out from the Centaur. Husky, he has an enchant in 1 second, and he won't even need it. He gets another. Things are going very well in the safe lane already for 4 Zoomers.
Yeah, I mean, Sammy's still free farming. Husky's doing all the work in protecting him and getting that initial farm up. So you're not getting the farm slowdown you want on the Alk. You do have this leveled spike on Moon. He's got level 3 up, so Fire Spirits are burning, and Sammy's all alone.
Sammy's copying a lot of damage, but here comes Husky. Once again, Moon, does he have the damage output to finish Sammy off? He does. Moon is going to be fine to Fairy Fire and walk away. The aggression does finally pay off for the Phoenix. Still Saberlight trying to go for a bit more, getting a bit of revenge on Husky. And he will be able to get it. So a complete opposite of what happened just about a minute ago. Is Undying give it right back to the safe lane of 4 Zoomers.
And that's what they need to do. Keep this Alchemist down as much as possible. Slow down Sammy's pace. The deaths should put him back just a bit, but it's still an Alchemist. He'll come back in refreshed, clear out the creep wave, and get his farm flowing. It is still a better time for Sammy compared to Tomato. Tomato is still kind of slowing down up top. Just not much the TB can get done in that lane against a Razor. And that's always going to be a slight edge here for Zoomers. As long as Sammy is kind of farming ahead, you don't mind too much. You will have to worry about the momentum in the other lanes. You are seeing Gunner dip into the jungle as he can.
Sammy again, John.
Waiting for that Orb of Corrosion. Oh.
They try to make the jump in. Gets very low. He has a set of tangos, so he'll be able to heal up. But Brawl's here now. Sunray popped by Moon. I think he's baiting here for Brawl. Moon might die. The puck is going to move his way in. Brawl, does he have the damage output? It's only a level 1 silence. Meanwhile, Husky and the stun coming out from the neutral camp. But Sammy still goes down. So Brawl does indeed have the damage. And I think as long as the Alk's dying, Undying won't be too upset.
No, it's not the ideal to drop your offlaner as well, so you're getting really slow on that pace. And Tomato is not even safe in the jungle. Ocean's just constantly applying pressure here.
Ocean's doing a great job. Tomato going to try and chase him down. Sunder out. Ocean, he has 3 leap charges. There should be no way he dies. He even forces the meta. But Tomato's going to use it to farm anyway, so it's not too big of a deal.
Yeah, and the TB is just trying to play catch-up. They've really shut that lane down quite nicely. They haven't really found kill ops, but you don't need to kill the TB to slow him down. Just forcing him in the jungle early means that you're giving a lot of space to the Razor to just control the lane. You're already seeing Brax get started in that top tier 1. It's already down to 700 HP, so less than half. And if they commit for the pressure here in Zoomer, they should be able to melt that quite fast. And they're distracting the supports away from Gunner. So all this move in the map, Gunner's just free farming in the jungle himself. And he's about to hit those spikes with the bear. He's already got the Orb of Corrosion phase boots once more at the 8-minute mark. Going for the Blitz Knuckles next. And once you have that up, the towers are going to be open for push from the bear alone.
Well, Dream Coil committed. Dubu is going to be saved by Brawl. And now, maybe you regret going for that kill. But no, Brax, he's going to be alright as Brawl kind of orbed away. Ocean, still 3 leap charges on him. Orb, not going to land. Brax is just going to TP out right in front of them. They had no way to cancel. And while that was happening, Gunner is still taking the T1 mid tower. And Undying cannot allow this to happen. This really can't happen if they want to win the game.
Yeah, but they have no response. Like, they were tied into that chase. Saberlight just hit 6, so he didn't have Arena to punish when he was that far deep. Maybe now, if Gunner's going to overextend.
He's going to die in the saddest way. If that creep connects, and it does. Husky gives the tip over.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's been a great time for Husky. That safe lane for Zoomers has really just worked out. It forces so much rotations in from Undying. And it's what you mentioned last time. They're constantly running around to try and react to that movement. They're always losing something elsewhere in Dubu.
Oh, nice cast bounce onto Ocean. He still has 1 more leap charge. Is he going to commit? I don't think so. Not underneath the tier 2 tower. However, while that was happening, it's like Husky does die. Good pick up there from Saberlight. Mind you, he did lose his courier in the process. And unfortunately for them, they still haven't really dealt with Sammy. He's going to go back and farm up the Battle Fury in the jungle now. Undying. I guess you've got to bide your time. The Dubu's getting dived by Brax, and they're pushing the top tier 2 now. Brax just forcing them to try and rotate and defend. Just keep the pressure up.
That's what they want. If they don't defend, then obviously the tower will take a lot more damage than you want. If they do defend, it frees up the mid push for Gunner. Has the Blitz Knuckles up. So that bear hits like a truck. You're going to have to watch himself. They are pushing the bot tier 1 here in exchange and dying. Just getting the objective they can take. Tomato did pop Metamorphosis. But it's not going to be worth losing a mid tier 1. So again, they have to be very careful about the choices they make here. They're going to lose that top jungle entirely if they don't manage to come in.
They try to go after the lone druid. Saberlight TP'd in. No arena. They wanted to protect the tier 1, but it's already too late. Gunner's going to go for a chase onto Brawl now. He'll try to orb away. Nice spear out into the root as well. He can't orb. He'll pop the Dream Coil, but he's going to die. Moon Meander will try to Sunray to victory, but the arrow comes in from Ocean, connects on the Phoenix. The tips are out, and they even get couriers. Moon Meander is not safe. They get his life and his courier's life.
Oh, it's a slow start for Undying, but they needed a fast start. It's a 4K lead now for the Zoomers, and all of their cores are farmed up ahead of Undying as well. It's not just Sammy, and Sammy's still AFK in that jungle. They haven't had a solution for the Alchemy, even Tomato.
Look at the damage out from Husky. They're going to kill him. That's a pos 5.
It's just not fair.
Ooh. Pure damage.
He gives the DX. I mean, what do you do?
Nah, there's nothing you can do. There's a smoke out from Undying while he was dying, but they can't really make anything happen. They need to play with the Arena Egg Dream Coil. They need to find some angles, take some fights.
They've got to be careful. 4 Zoomers, they're hot right now, John. I don't know if they can take a team fight at the moment as Moon Meander about to drop again. He has to pop the egg. Arena is going to be nice though. Saberlight locking down Brax, making sure he dies. They'll get one big pick off. In fact, it might even be 2. Husky. He's going to try and back. Sunray to follow up. He's going to be fine. Saberlight does land the spear, but it's not onto a tree. There's a very nice arena there from Saberlight to at least get something for their trouble. But top lane Gunner's pushing a tier 2 tower. He doesn't care.
Yeah, and they just play this way so well from the side of Zoomers. The moment they see you commit elsewhere, they can push out with the lone druid, and they still get free farm on Sammy. They have no cares at all with losing Brax there. Like, he's probably the best core to die for the side of Zoomers, and I mean, he's also kind of still farmed up in the Razor. He has his travels up, he's got a Falcon Blade for sustain and damage, and they have to commit so much just to kill off one hero that makes it difficult to find anything else.
Brax trying to start a fight. He's going to be surrounded. They'll coil him up. He does have help coming in, but it is a bit far away. They're still going to pick up Moon Meander. They'll lose Brax, however, and Husky is a man on the run. Saberlight. They should be able to get him, surely. Death Ward out just in case. Spear connects, but here comes Gunner. He's not going to allow it. This is basically a core Enchantress right now with the amount of damage she's dealing, but she is going to die. Still, Gunner will continue the chase, gets the melee form off. Arena is down, however. Ensnare onto Saberlight. Not going to be enough. He's going to walk away. Arrow to fly in. Saberlight will juke that out.
Ooh. And
it looks like the Maledict probably won't kill Gunner. They don't get the bear either.
Yeah, that's pretty darn big for Gunner. Like, they force out a lot of spells once more. Dream Coil along the arena being dropped. So if you take some tools away there from the side of Undying, you're going to have to wait. The arena cooldown's not going to line up with Bryle's Dream Coil, so you're not going to find that combination in hand. But you do have Dream Coil and Egg if you want to force a fight out. And Undying need to keep forcing fights out. They just need to force Zoomers into an awkward spot. The issue is Sammy's still free farming, so no matter what fight you take, Sammy's just building up on the Alkin. He is getting very scary. 9.5k up, 3k ahead of the next course.
Oh,
and,
no.
Oh, the Dream Coil.
Nice leap away. It's a short cooldown anyway, the Dream Coil, but you never really want to miss like that. And I think Gunner's going to feel safe to go after that tier 2 again now that he's seen the Dream Coil down. At the very least, he's keeping them away from Sammy. And I think for Zoomers, that was their original plan anyway.
Yeah, they just can't punish the Alk, and they can't even find Husky. Like, really good TP out there in the middle. They don't have vision in their triangle. They don't have control on this side of the map right now. They need to get some wards in. Doobie has a couple.
Race for the bounty.
Spot that.
Nice deny from Moon Meander, but it's going to cost his life. He used Icarus Dive already to try and get in range of the bounty. They need the gold. I don't blame him, but it's going to cost his life.
Yeah, you're not going to be too upset if you're inside of Zoomers. If you find a kill, it does still feel better. Gunner does get jumped, but it's just Bryle.
That it is. He has Coil up in about 12 seconds. Meanwhile, Arena is down. They have caught out Brax again, so they get the Razor. Nice little pick up there from Undying. Brax does not seem concerned though. And I think it is literally a matter of, if Sammy's farming, I do not care how many times I die.
Yeah. In fact, I'd go further. If Sammy and Gunnar are farming, which both of them are, then you really don't care what happens. Hello, Sammy?
He tried to go in for a defense. He's got the acid spray down, but now Melodict is out. He's popped the chemical rage, unstable concoction. He could actually turn this if his team is there to back him up, and now they are. Gunnar does come in with the Spirit Bear. They're going to go after Saberline. Arrow does connect on the backside as well, and that'll be Yamar's gone. Egg is down, but they don't have the arena to protect, nor do they have the coil. And the defense ends up working out. In fact, Bryle, he came back for the regen rune. He doesn't have mana to orb away unless he pops the regen, but it's not going to be long enough. In fact, never mind, he barely has enough, but it's not going to matter. Plasma Field is there, and Gunnar will give the tip over.
The confidence out from Zoomers to just get into these fights now. Undying, their team fights are just not breaking out the way they want to. They need to line up a perfect egg arena. It doesn't happen. You have to worry about Enchantress enchanting a TB illusion as well. And that just takes a lot away. Like, Tomato needs every single bit he can get, although...
I think you're happy. Arena's down, Husky dies, sure, but you got the T2 top tower, and they're going to go for a Roshan, I think, even. Or maybe not, because they've got to defend the T1 in the mid lane first. And they do it. Tomato gets to back out. Does have his team to back him up. Gunner's coming in from the backside. This could be really dangerous. The stun does land on two in the acid spray of all things. Oh. And they will just melt. Saberlight trying to run. He gets ensnared. He's going to go down. And it's a matter of, do you want Roshan or do you want a tower? Which one would you prefer, Mr. Four Zoomers?
I mean, they could honestly try both. Like, have someone push, then everyone else go for the tower, for the Roche. They will just go for the tower instead. The safer play. They want to shut the map out. And Undying, they're 16k behind at 18 minutes in. 18-9, 2 times the kills on Zoomers. They've got the Desolator up on Gunnar. This is a very scary moment now. They need to get these big team fights. They need the arena and more heroes than just one support.
How?
They need the egg to follow up, but they're not finding the angles. They're just taking what they can get, which I understand. But it just doesn't amount to much. Like, you're killing Husky off. Great. He doesn't matter anymore. Like, he's annoying as the Ench, but he's not the big factor. And now the Roche opens up. They know the Fortify's down, so after the Roche, they can switch onto a tower. And now you have to contend with 2 lives on either Gunnar or Sammy. And that just complicates things even more for Undying.
Well, mid lane going to show himself. Roshan down. They still need that tier 1 mid tower to go. It's kind of too late anyway. Sammy's too farmed up on the Arc now. They could just let the tier 1 tower go down and it wouldn't even matter for 4 Zoomers, but I guess you don't need to, so why would you let it happen? And, of course, Gunnar back to split push in the top lane. Tomato, he's trying to farm the Eye of Skadi, but he's only got 1.1k gold right now. He's literally 10k behind the Arc. It's so hard to imagine him being able to find anywhere to farm with the map being controlled like this. Bot lane, Moon, he's gone. He's trying to make space, John. This is all he can do.
Yeah, and it's not enough. Like, you are getting space out for Tomato, but Tomato is barely keeping up with Brax, and Brax has died multiple times by himself.
Look at this.
Right? Like, he's the core that's being sacrificed from this place. They do come in.
Alright, the lead form is out. The silence wasn't there in time. Still a nice arena, but look how tanky that Druid is. The tier 3 tower does nothing. Brax is sapping Tomato's damage his way to boot, so he's going to have a lot less damage. They'll keep going with the Deathwood. Gunnar just tanking through it, and they got the Terror Blade. He has buyback, but there is no way he can commit it. Moon Meander gonna get stunned up. Zubu will buy back on the Witch Doctor, but they are melting. This might be a very early GG call about to happen. 4 Zoomers. It looks like they can't lose. Dota Plus, 98%. They're gonna hold down for now, Undying. Nope, they're not. GG's called. That will be it. The grand finalists and your winners of the BTS Pro Series Season 5 is going to be the 4 Zoomers.
They play spectacularly well. Sammy boy, stop it. You won. Oh, Sammy. But yeah, Zoomers, look, they got dropped by Undying in the upper bracket finals. Right? They got dropped by them 2-0 very quick. They come into the grand finals. They had to beat No Ping out, and they played spectacularly. There was a back and forth there. Undying took a game off of them, but they come back in really good form and force a very fast GG call 20 minutes into the last game. Spectacular performance. And it goes back to that one point you raised up, right? Like, they've just improved so much as a team throughout the past few months. And one of the factors is they've stuck together as a team, right? Like, they have not made any major roster changes since the DPC ended. So they've had even more time to work on their chemistry, to work on what works with each other. And it just comes out on top. Undying, maybe feeling a bit complacent. They did try to play well. They had some interesting drafts going on, but Zoomers were ready and they come out on top. Big props to them. It's been a long journey for the Zoomers, but they've got that win under their belt.
That's impressive as well from Sammy. Almost 1,000 gold per minute, and we only had like a 20-minute game. It just goes to show you how much space 4Zoomers made for Sammy this game. And again, we kind of mentioned it during the draft, but the improvement over the last couple weeks from these guys has been real immense. Very, very, very impressive is the word I'm looking for. Still with that, John, that is going to be it for the BTS Pro Series Season 5. I've got to say, I can't wait till the NADPC starts again so I can see these two teams go at it. Because you know Undying, they're not going to be happy about this. They'll be back for revenge during the NADPC Season 2. Of course, for the viewers out there, if you wanted to support these teams, a great way to do so is follow them on Twitter. Team Undying's Twitter is literally at Team Undying, and 4Zoomers is literally at 4Zoomers. And it does help them a lot more than you know, I promise you that. With that, John, do you have any final words before we head off?
Yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the past few days. It's been a great month, almost, of the BTS Pro Series. Really good insight into how both upper divs and lower divs might work out, how the team switching from lower div to upper div might pay off, and how the interregional play goes. So it's been a fantastic time to cover that. It's been a great time covering with you. Shout out, of course, to all the other casters as well. We had Party Pete, we had ET, we had Ricky as well coming in. And they were doing a fantastic job as well. If you want to support any of the casters, all of us are on Twitter. Mike's at MLP Dota. I'm at johnxfire. You can find Ricky, Party Pete, and ET there as well. But that is it for now. We will have a bit of breather here before the majors, and that's going to be the next thing for everyone to watch out for. But for now, in the NASA scene, going to be a bit of a break until that next season of the DPC.
Thank you very much, everyone. You guys have a lovely night and enjoy the major in a few days.